Jay right in your face.
Welcome back to the Faedaway podcast, episode number 4. I'm your host, Fatty, and I got my co-host, Zaid, with me. Zaid, how you doing, buddy?
Good. How are you, bro?
Oh, man, I'm hanging out, living the dream. You know what it is, just getting ready for some Raptors basketball. Late night tonight. We on the West Coast.
10 o'clock game tonight. We were just talking how much how much I don't like the late games.
Yeah.
I know no one really likes the late games.
Iffy.
Talking about how much we missed the bubble timing, man. Everything Eastern time, 7:30 games all day throughout the day. Those like that.
I remember not even looking forward to bubble basketball, and now you're like, with all these games getting postponed and people getting sick, you're like, man, I miss bubble basketball when everyone was just safe and passing the tests, and it is what it is. Like,
not only was it like more consistent because of now we have a bunch of games postponed because teams don't have enough guys, but the basketball was better in the bubble.
It people were crazy confident.
It seemed to be way more competitive, like you say right now, crazy confident. Games were closer. They weren't really blowouts. And just the format of all day games at one point, especially in the beginning of the bubble, that was like probably the best situation. But now that you talk about it, let's just get into, what does the NBA need to do, or how can it better handle like these situations where teams don't have enough guys? The Sixers played a game with 7 guys. Doc Rivers jokes around about having Dwight Howard play point guard because they don't really have any guards. So like, what does the NBA need to do to really, make this season actually, finish smoothly and run smoothly?
At the end of the day, there's really not much that they can do because everything that they make decisions based off of, it's all based on these tests.
Yeah. And
test results come back, whatever they come back as. So if it comes back positive, they have to do something about it. And it was kind of weird because in the Sixers game, Seth Curry, he had actually played with an inconclusive test.
Yeah.
And then like mid-game, they pulled him.
And told him that he's positive.
And he has to quarantine, but it's like, technically wouldn't everyone have to quarantine? But then he's just sitting, and then it's kind of weird because they're in limbo, right? Because I was listening to a couple guys from ESPN talking. They're saying like Adam Silver was saying, we need to keep people employed. There's tens of thousands of people that rely on us for employment, and we have to keep people employed. So unfortunately, they're going to have to keep postponing games. And I mean, before tonight or before last night, it was just a one game. The first week was Houston.
Yeah.
But now they postponed Miami, Boston, and then tonight the Pelicans game and the Mavericks game.
Yeah.
I mean, think about it this way, man. Like, you got Luka going up against Zion, and you're going to sell it short because one of them can't play or because they have 6 players playing.
Yeah.
And I mean, the NBA, we already know Zion's the golden child, so they're not going to want to put him in a position where he has to play extra minutes and get hurt and whatnot.
And the product is already kind of not. I'm not going to say damaged, but
it is damaged.
The product right now is it's not as great as it used to be. And
I think it's absolutely damaged.
I mean, if you want to go that far, I don't think it's damaged. I just think the level of competition, it seems a bit off. People like there are good players in the league. And there's good players on almost every single team, but just the way that the teams have been playing, like even when we always talk about the Raptors, they're a good team, but the way they've been playing has been poor. So.
Everything though, man. From officiating standpoint, like the NBA clearly hates defense at this point. It's not even funny. Like the Raptors game when they lose by the 1 point against the Warriors. And they lost because the guy Damian Lee is gonna get free throws because he got touched by a finger on the game-winning shot from Lowry. Like, what's going on here, man? Like, the officiating this year has been abysmal. The games aren't competitive. People are sitting out. Like, but we had games where Philly played, and I think Joel Embiid sat Tobias Harris, sat Seth Curry, Ben Simmons. Like, what fan is gonna tune into that game to watch? And I mean, shout out to Tyrese Maxey, rookie.
Yeah, he dropped
39 points.
Yeah.
But I mean, man, no one's gonna do that. No casual fan is gonna sit and watch that.
And then you also have players like taking personal days, like Kyrie. He took 2 games off for personal reasons, and now there's
4
reports. Is it 4?
This is the 4th game now. 4 straight games.
And now there's reports saying that he's off the grid. Nobody knows where he is even. So there's situations like that. I was thinking, considering how how much COVID has an effect on these games and on the season. 72 games or 70 and some change is still a lot of games to play.
It is.
I was thinking about the other day. I'm like, maybe in hindsight, maybe just make it a 30-game season,
They
35
can't
game
do
season.
that.
It's too small of a product to put on TV.
No, there's legit minimums they have to hit to keep their TV deal. If they go any less than 72 games, they lose that contract. You lose that contract,
you lose the money.
You lose the money,
You lose the money.
and they cannot lose the money. And that's like at the end of the day, that's why I'm saying there's not much that they can do, because on the one side, you have to listen to what the test tells you if it's positive or negative.
Mm-hmm.
If it's positive, you have to follow certain rules. You don't really have much of a choice there. Mm-hmm. And on the other side, you have to make money. You can't sustain. You can't keep people unemployed. You can't lose your TV deal.
Yeah,
that's your revenue. That's how you're paying your players. It's a weird situation to be in, man. But I don't know. Maybe they'll get like mass vaccinated and then it'll all be okay.
I'm surprised the NBA hasn't like applied for like a quick express vaccination or something like that.
Think about the bad PR they would get. All the player privilege, all the rich people privilege, the NBA privilege. They're already getting tested every single day.
Yeah.
We can't access the same testing. Now they're getting all the vaccines first.
Yeah.
It's like, well, think about the frontline workers and all these. Mm-hmm. It's way too much of a mess. Mm-hmm. They'd have to like really do it secretly, but that's one thing you can't really do in secret.
You can't hide that. There's going to be a player to post it on some sort of Instagram or social media network.
It's tough for the product, man. And the time last year we were talking like in terms of social media, it's at its all-time high. Mm-hmm. They're getting a lot of engagement, a lot of likes, but viewership is down, and then obviously now with the NFL playoffs, like
it's just the quality. The quality
it's tough.
Of basketball hasn't been the greatest, and when you have stars who are sitting out, when you have stars like KD who are sitting out because they didn't. KD never got one positive test. The tests were just inconclusive, and he didn't get enough negative tests in a row for him to qualify to play. So there's a lot of protocol that they have in place that maybe are questionable. That maybe if they were to make it more reasonable or more logical, that might maybe improve the gameplay. More stars are playing more often, less canceled games. But it's definitely a tough scenario. Like you're literally dealing with the pandemic and then dealing with making money or losing money and keeping people employed. So the NBA hasn't done a bad job in trying to get the season going, but it's just been a weird season because you can tell that the product is lacking. Yeah, and you can see in the game there's blowout games. And, we talked about the Clippers getting blown out. Now they're doing well. Dallas will play well, then they'll get blown out. And then so it's so much inconsistency.
Most of those good teams are starting to regress to the mean and move back up in the standings. Yeah. Like I know the Bucks moved up in the standings. Mm-hmm. Who else? The Warriors are back in playoff contention. The Warriors are back. The top 5 in the East are now Philly, Boston, Pacers, Bucks, and Magic. Like things are going back to normal. Yeah. In the West, it's the Suns are killing it. Yeah. But it's still Lakers, Clippers, Jazz, Warriors, Mavs, Portland. Like it's been the same. OKC sneaking in there, but that's because Denver's kind of slacking right now. But to stay on the subject of the bad product, man, like the injuries that they've seen to start this season have been, it's hard, man. It's hard. Like we're sad here every time somebody gets injured because he's a human being and. Man, the guy, like, you work so hard to get to that position, and you finally, like, in Fultz's position, man, you overcome all that adversity. You finally, get a groove, and then
torn ACL.
Just like that. It's a whole season's gone, and can you come back? He's a very athletic guard. Mm-hmm. Like, he's not Derrick Rose, but he kind of is built like Derrick Rose. He was playing on that athleticism. So do you come back from that? Yeah. And it's tough, man. And then, obviously... Bogdanovich with his injury. I'm not going to even try to repeat it. It was like 10 different words. Yeah. But it's something in his knee. Yeah. And then Thomas Bryant, torn ACL. These are all young guys. Yeah. Guys that were like, think about how excited we were for Bogdan, man. To get to to get to the Hawks. And the Hawks they started out 4-1. They've lost 4 straight. Yeah. So let's not, it's tough, man. But what do you think of these injuries, man? Like, do you think it's the short off season? Like, where do you attribute this? Because it happens every year, it seems now. It's at an all-time high.
You can't attribute... It's very hard to attribute these injuries to a specific reason. All those guys you named, they didn't have short-off seasons. They had pretty long ones. Orlando came to the bubble, left early, so Markel had time to recoup. At the time, Bogdanovich was on the Kings. They didn't go to the bubble, so he had the whole offseason. So those injuries... They're kind of just like freak accidents, and I saw Markel's injury, and I saw the step he took, and it was just a misstep, and it all comes down to how the players play. Like, if there's a reason why coaches and trainers teach NBA players how to fall. That's to avoid injury. They teach them how to run. It's to avoid injury. How to step. They teach them footwork. It's to avoid a lot of injuries. I think it's becoming a lot. It's not becoming a lot more common now, but we see it now. You know, when somebody gets injured, we just go on Instagram, we scroll through in Basketball Forever, Bleacher Report, whatever, has a video of the injury. We see the injuries all over our Twitter, all over Facebook, all over all the social media outlets. So it's not so much about it being more common now. I just think it's more, recognizable. It's more in our face now. But I think also it's a lot easier now to come back from injury than it ever has been before because of sports science, nutrition, or the trainers, the training methods. Markelle Fultz, the first thing I thought about when he got injured is, obviously very sad, very upset that he's injured. Second thing I thought about, thank God he signed that contract before he got injured. Because if he does never come back, at least he's got $60 million.
Got paid.
He just got paid. He's got money to, he's okay. Not that it discredits, like how bad we should feel for him at all, but like at least he got money before he got injured. And that's my biggest thing. As long as at least these guys are getting paid before they're getting injured. That's the worst thing to do or to have happen to you.
DeMarcus Cousins.
Is to have a DeMarcus Cousins kind of year, or to get injured within your first 2 or 3 years in the league. Yeah. That's when it gets really, really tough.
Yeah, for sure.
But at the same time, if you were to ask me, are these guys going to come back? I think they're going to come back. It's John Wall's proven that it's possible to come back from injury. KD, possible to come back from injury and play at high levels.
Yeah.
Derrick Rose has come back. All these guys have come back from multiple injuries. So I definitely think it's doable to come back and play at a high level.
Yeah, you mentioned that you didn't think it was the offseason because some teams didn't even play in the bubble and stuff, but how about the preseason not really being there? Because that's a big part of, I think, the transition back is that preseason. You get, and that's why the Raptors, like when the Raptors started out the season 0-5, whatever the case was.
4, yeah.
It looked like those 3-4 games, they were still like lagging. They were still coming back into shape. And I'm being biased, obviously, using the Raptors because some teams came out strong, whatever the case may be. But maybe that transition back and, going back into full-fledged NBA basketball that quick.
There's a reason why the lower level teams were the first ones to get that head start. The Orlandos, the Knicks were playing well. The Pacers are playing well. These are teams that didn't, if they went to the bubble, they didn't last very long or deep into the bubble. So
Cleveland,
they were able to get that rest. Cleveland, exactly. They were able to get that rest. The Raptors, the first couple of games, they looked so tired. They looked they weren't in game shape.
Yeah, for sure.
So that's definitely where the lack of a training camp, the lack of preseason comes into play. And it does have an effect on injuries.
Yeah.
Because you're not as game fit as you would have been if you had a regular season. A regular training camp or a regular preseason prior to the season actually beginning.
and then also piggybacking off of our conversation about COVID, you have 3-4 guys that miss games. You're going to have to play extra minutes. And if you're playing all these extra minutes, that's added risk for injury, added opportunity for injury. So hopefully we don't see many more. It's terrible. And I mean, John Morant's not out forever, but he is out, and it hurts the product. And a team like Memphis, where you're in the West, your margin of error is minimal. I want to see some postseason John. If you miss 3-4 weeks in the West,
you might not make it,
depending on how you do, right? So shout out to JV though. Let's stay on the Raptors train, man, because we've given the Raptors a lot of flack this season.
They still,
and I think rightfully so. They deserved a lot of the flack that we gave them. But I'm here to give some flowers. And although the last 4 games were 1-3, it's not impressive. It's not looking great. I'm here to give some flowers because I think personally, there's a lot of positives that we can take away, man. I like the way that Pascal's playing. I was on here saying Pascal looked bad. He looked figured out, and he did. But let me just tell you, his last 4 games, 24, 10, and 6.
Yeah.
24, 10, and 6, shooting 53 from the field, 41 from 3. His playmaking ability, in my opinion, this year has taken a step up. He's just finding people better. He's passing the ball better in the last 4 games. I think I need to give him his flowers, man, because he's again, we're not winning the games, and I think that there's a lot of things that can be improved before you start winning those games.
Yeah.
But I gotta say, man, he's figured out. He's getting back into that groove. He's getting comfortable. I hope to see this aggression keep going. We still need OG to step up. That's just the reality of the situation. And Fred VanVleet's been our best player all season.
I wouldn't give him flowers yet. I think he's made pretty drastic improvements, and the biggest thing that stood out to me when I was watching the Raptors play is he's using his brain. And you can see he's using his brain on, he sees and he notices when double teams are coming. He loves to get the ball in the post. He loves to go down low and try to post up the smaller defender or whatever defender it is. you saw him in the last 2 or 3 games, you see him reading the defense, waiting for the double to come. And I remember he had a couple streaks of that where the defender would come and he would have an easy pass somewhere else. He had an easy this one play stands out to me where he was in a post, double came from the weak side and Terrence Davis just cut and it was just an easy pass like this, easy layup. So you can tell he's starting to read defenses more, starting to pick his spots more. Pascal's game is still very raw. Like when you look at him play, he doesn't look the most coordinated. He doesn't look the most smooth. But when he chooses his spots and he picks his spots, he knows when to shoot. He knows what spots he wants to shoot from, and he shoots with confidence. That is what's going to unlock his game to the let's average 27 points a game instead of 22, 24. So from Pascal's perspective, I still think there's a lot of improvement, but he has made strides and he has done a great job of playmaking for others, being able to read defenses and see how his effect can be more than just scoring. Instead of him just forcing up twirling shots, forcing up post-ups, forcing up three-point shots that he doesn't have. I think once he starts to, or he has started to play smarter, but once he continues to play smarter, that's when he's going to take it to the next level. Fred VanVleet has been probably the most reliable player on the Raptors. You know what you're going to get from him. You know you're going to get great shooting. You know you're going to get Fred, attacking the basket. So we
didn't know that though. The first couple games was shaky.
It was shaky.
He had 9 and 8 points in a couple of those first couple games.
But he's still gonna shoot. He's still gonna play. And it was only the first. It's only really been 2 or 3 games that he's been a bit shaky. But he's the type to also give you things at other ends of the floor. At the defensive end, he'll play bigger than what he is. His playmaking for other people is
shut down Steph Curry 2 for 16.
Exactly. His playmaking for other people has always been there. The biggest thing is the 2 X factors. It's Norm and OG. OG has not played to the level we wanted him to play at.
His percentages are terrible.
It's been very difficult to watch. Even defensively, he hasn't been the greatest. I think a couple games ago, I know I had found the stat that the Raptors commit the most fouls in the NBA, and that's probably still true just by watching them play the last couple of games. Defensively, the Raptors are not playing well. We give up so many threes. We give them up at a high percentage, and we foul. There's no chance we're going to win games. There's no chance we're going to win games with defense.
OG shooting 28% from the 3, down from 39% last year.
Exactly. And then Norm, he's good some games. He's good. He's not good other games.
But he's averaging 12.
OG?
Yeah.
But imagine if he
12
shot
and 6.
If he shot better though.
Oh, I'm saying let's say that 28, you push that up to 35%. You're averaging 15 a game.
Exactly. So that's possessions wasted at that point. And let's just talk about the last game because that's the most fresh. That's a fresh game on our.
The Warriors
game yesterday. We saw Steph Curry. Honestly, I'm not gonna say Fred VanVleet by himself shut him down. I think the Raptors, led by Fred, did a great job at making it difficult for Steph. Steph had a lot of trouble getting through screens, getting through, getting open shots for himself. The Raptors did a great job of shutting down Steph Curry, but the issue is we didn't shut down anybody else. We let everybody else eat. Wiggins was eating. Pascal was eating. Kelly Oubre hit a few threes, and we hadn't seen him hit many threes at all this season. So the defensive schemes that Nick Nurse has been putting into play haven't been the greatest. And then so you also have to come out and question Nick Nurse. What are you doing to make this team better? There's games where we give up 120 plus points. We're not going to win with that brand of basketball.
I think he's still figuring out the lineup and the rotation.
Absolutely, he is. Absolutely.
Because there's still guys that like Chris Boucher has been exceptional.
God bless him.
Has been exceptional. Like shout out to Chris Boucher.
Yeah,
has been exceptional.
His birthday today, I think.
Happy birthday to Chris. Bonne fête à toi, bro.
Yeah, facts.
Bonne fête à toi, CB. Slim Duck.
But he's also been one of the most consistent players on the Raptors, and he's not even starting yet, which may be a move that Nick Nurse wants to make because he went with that really small ball 5 with Pascal Siakam starting at the 5 on yesterday against the Warriors. It didn't really work out in our favor. I'm going to let you speak about Watanabe.
Where's my camera? Is it here? Yeah. No, it's this one here.
Because I know you love
Raptors Twitter. Raptors Twitter, I need to hear from you. Loud and proud. Watanabe. Watanabe, bro.
He give us such good
The minutes. Japanese James Harden, because he's got the lefty, but he's a way better defender. Yes. Man, I loved his hands on rebounds. Mm-hmm. I thought he was very active. His positioning was great. Mm-hmm. He was just after him, man. He was just going, like, attacking the rim. He had confidence. He had a nice stroke.
Yeah.
He made a three. Man, it was good. I want him to get more minutes, get more comfortable.
He seems like he can be that kind of utility guy who can do it all. If you need an open three, get him in the corner, get him in the wings, he'll hit an open three. He can defend for you.
We just need more like good minutes from him.
Him and Stanley. Stanley Johnson's been playing. He's been playing exceptional.
Is it Stanley or OG though?
Yeah,
which one is it?
That's a tough one to tell apart. But
which one is it?
But Stanley, like his minutes, I can't even be mad at. Like he's been playing really good minutes, and you can tell Nick Nurse has been trusting him a lot, especially because of his production on the defensive end. It's not much on the offensive end, but his ability to defend multiple positions, to switch, to get rebounds, I think has been great for the Raptors. And then Malachi Flynn, he's been getting a lot of run. He surprised me because he is a lot less confident than I thought he was going to be. You know, you look at his college tapes, you look at how he plays. He plays with like a sense of confidence that like I've seen him take shots and I'm like, what are you doing? Like why? But he takes them and makes those shots. He hasn't had that same kind of swag with the Raptors, and I think I think Nick Nurse needs to maybe not call him out in public. But I think Nick Nurse needs to instill some sort of confidence in him and get him really going.
And that's a good point, man, because you and I were kind of talking about that too. And prior to him having that one breakout game, so it was the game against Sacramento when they had a franchise high in points. It was 144.
Yeah.
He had a really good game. I think he had 12 for 14 that night. Mm-hmm. But prior to that, he hadn't even made a basket. He hadn't made his first NBA basket. And you and I were watching that, and we're like, he looks scared. Like he's looking like he's so nervous. He doesn't want to make the wrong decision and get benched or get called out again.
Yeah.
And as much as we love Nurse and we give him his flowers and he's a great coach, you and I have been outspoken on how we feel about him bashing guys in the media, especially guys like you're gonna bash non-rotational guys.
That's the issue.
You know what I mean? Like, why are you gonna go out and bash Malachi Flynn for the 3 minutes that he gave you and say, "Oh, he didn't really give us much"?
And his first,
well, what do you want from him?
His first 4 NBA games, Matt Thomas hasn't been getting much run at all. There's so many.
Bro, Raptors Twitter needs Matt Thomas freed right now. People are going crazy.
So I don't mind him bashing the norms who've been around
and are getting a lot of minutes.
OG, Pascal, Kyle Lowry, even though no one can speak ill on his name. Kyle Lowry, bash him, fine. He'll come back strong the next game.
You can never. No. You can never.
But you can never. But he's a coach. Whatever, he'll do it. But don't bash the guys who number one are on a very short leash and you're barely giving any run. That's my issue, is because that's not going to put any confidence in them. You got to talk to these guys on their own. You got to talk to them and teach them what to do. Make them watch tape. Critique them personally. Don't critique them in the public because it's not going to come out favorable for the Raptors at all, in my opinion.
Yeah, I don't know, man. It's Nick's got to find his groove and he's got to be more consistent with the bench players. Like I was saying, when we were watching the game, it feels like there's an A team and a B team.
Yeah.
And then there's like the A team is like the Fred VanVleet, Kyle Lowry, Norm, OG, Pascal. And then you got the B team that's like Stanley and Len and Baines and
Chris
all
Boucher making his way up to the A team. Like
Chris Boucher's like 8.5, 8.5, right? And I brought up Baines' name, but we didn't get a chance to talk about it. He's effectively out of the lineup. I think Chris Boucher done played him out of the lineup. And Watanabe, we need to know what his real name. Okay, we need to know how to say it because
Watanabe.
I've heard Watanabe. I've heard Watanabe.
I'm gonna go with Watanabe.
I'm going Watanabe. Watanabe. Wow, we just coined the name on the show, boys and girls. Watanabe.
No, you bring up Baines. Baines is and even Len. Len hasn't got much of a chance to play, but Baines, bro, this guy.
I think some games like Nick has a beer or something before the game. He's like, "Hey, Len, let's give it a shot." And then other games like, "No."
Bro, Aaron Baines has been
trash.
Bad. Man, he's been bad, bro. Like, he can't defend. He's a big guy who can't defend. He shoots.
Has been abysmal.
The 3-point shot is a dash up. If you've ever seen him shoot he just throws it up, and sometimes it'll go in, whatever, but he does not give you enough output offensively or defensively. We relied previously on our bigs to make plays. We had Marc Gasol and Serge Ibaka who were very good passers. Mm-hmm. None of our big men are these kinds of passers. It's the Raptors are really struggling to create offense through the big men because of that.
Absolutely. Let's move on from the Raptors. I think the main takeaways is
we're getting better.
the trend is upwards. I think it's it's not really translating in wins right now, but the defense is tightening up a little bit over the last 2 games. Pascal's getting more confident.
Yeah.
The offense is coming around. Hopefully the bench can come around as well because we need bench production. Terrence Davis needs to come through.
And he does when he's given the chance. One last point I wanted to make was that game-winning shot Pascal took. Love that he took it. Love that he missed it. He needs that. He needs that kind of experience.
Did you see the breakdown? Did you see that guy who broke down Draymond Green's read of that play? That was perfect.
And that was perfect. And that might be a knock on Nick Nurse because there's no way Draymond.
There's like a few guys that can do that.
And Draymond's watching tape.
Yeah, but Draymond's an elite brain.
I agree, but you got to know that there's an elite brain defensively on the court. You got to come up with a play on the fly or be able to come up with a different play.
It's like one of those things when LeBron calls the play for you. He's just transcendent in his brain. Like Draymond Green is not LeBron offensively, but Draymond Green's value on the court, and that's something that we should probably give it at least a couple minutes because what he does on the court for Golden State is immeasurable on a stat sheet.
Absolutely.
You're never going to look at a box score and say, wow, Draymond stood out tonight. But Draymond Green is so perfect as a player because he's in every great defensive position. He's on every switch. He's talking. He's guiding you. Yeah. On offense, he's in the open court. He's hard to stop. He's fast. He's fast, and he's strong. A good playmaker. He's a good passer. And he doesn't look to shoot, man. He looks to distribute the ball and move the ball around. And I think that Andrew Wiggins this season has taken a step up defensively, and I think playing with Draymond Green
has helped him.
Really helped him immensely. Like he's looking different. He shut down Kawhi Leonard.
Yeah. No, he's done a good job, and they're
4-2 in their last 6 games.
That's the value that Draymond brings. I think the biggest thing that you mentioned about Draymond is that he doesn't look to shoot, and he knows he's kind of become not that great of a shooter. He
hit a couple threes against the Raptors that were so dagger.
But there's that one play yesterday when we looked at it. We gave Draymond absolutely the green light to shoot the ball. There was nobody near him,
and he didn't even look
to shoot. And that's the great thing about Draymond is that he knows his role. He knows how to play his role. On the flip side, I think Nurse should have came up with a better play. The play was poorly executed, but because we've seen that Draymond Green video of him guiding everybody what to do.
What I didn't like was that, like you said, they looked defeated right when they were figured out. Like the ball was inbounded, and everyone knew that they figured it out, and they just stood there and waited for pass. And like Pascal was kind of waiting for movement, and then he's like, "Okay, well, I'm going to do this." I hated that he spun because
he twirled.
I don't
mind.
Twirled,
but he didn't spin.
I don't mind that he misses, and I think, like you said, it's a great shot, and it almost went down. Like he had the confidence.
Yeah,
it's just so much more worse. Optic wise, when you spin
4
and
times.
you miss, it's like, come on, man! Like that's all that you do. And he spun in the same spot. Like it didn't.
Yeah.
So it was weird, but man, the Warriors, like Draymond Green's value is 4-2 since he's come back to the lineup.
Yeah.
And we're gonna talk about this kid later, James Wiseman. But
wow,
his effect on Wiseman and I think moving forward is gonna be amazing. Yo, have you been keeping up at all with the Lakers this season?
Why? They're perfect. What's there to keep up with? What do you need to talk about? There's no.
I sent you a post the other day, man. I sent you a post the other day of LeBron. He took a ridiculous shot. It was
the
like
fadeaway.
The fall away, not the fade. The fall away to the bottom corner. Like, talk about a well-oiled machine. And think about it this way: like, they still lost a lot of players and brought in like key guys.
Yeah.
We're talking about okay, your starting guard. He's new. Your backup, I think Wes Matthews coming off the bench.
Yeah.
But your starting center, he's brand new. Your bench center, brand new.
Yeah.
And this is your 6th man. So you have 3 guys that you gotta integrate into the offense, and it's just seamless. It just AD is transcendent, and LeBron is LeBron.
Yeah.
But have we seen AD better than he is right now? Like I feel like AD is goated right now. Like even though he won 1 ring, he just has that aura like, give me that ball, I'm taking over. And I was listening to a report. They were saying apparently AD was pissed at his teammates in the first couple of games because the defense was kind of crappy and it wasn't looking really good. And he started taking over, and they were saying like it's a good sign. Like when AD feels like this and he takes over, it's
a lot of times some players unlock another level once they win. Once they know how to win. LeBron won his first, unlocked another level. D-Wade won his first, unlocked another level. AD won his first, he's unlocking another level. Once you become a champion, you know what it takes to get there. there's a formula. There's good habits you start to actually keep when you want to win a championship. So I think for me, AD, we know he's going to be great. We know he's going to put up buckets. We know he's virtually unguardable. We know he's a great rim protector, great screen and roll defender. But how he's going to lead, how he's going to hold guys accountable, how he's going to actually bring this Lakers team together, especially as LeBron. Every year we say LeBron's aging. He's going to be he's going to be regressing a bit this year. Never really does. But as LeBron is getting older, AD has to become that guy that's in the spotlight more. He has to be that leader on the team.
Yeah.
I think Frank Vogel has been wildly underrated.
Yeah.
Because what he's been...
As are many of LeBron's coaches, though.
Yes, but I think Frank Vogel a lot more... Spo is accurately rated now. And he's getting a lot of flowers
because of his post-LeBron.
Because of post-LeBron and because of how he handled that Miami Heat team. But Frank Vogel, how he's been able to integrate two transcendent players, two transcendent egos is great. How he's been able to integrate stars or role players around those two guys has been great. He's been like you said, he's been able to integrate 3 new key players into the system. Mm-hmm. You also have THT, who has games where he plays well. Kuzma carving out a better role for him. And then you bring in guys like Wes Matthews. You bring in other guys off the bench.
Markieff Morris.
He's been doing a good job. And you can't look at it and say it's all LeBron. LeBron can obviously do so much, but there has to be a system in play. There has to be subs made. There has to be defensive plays called out by the ref, by the coach. Sorry.
They have 5 guys averaging double-digit scoring. They have AD at 23, Bron 24, Dennis 14. Kuz 11, Trez 13.
That Trez, bringing him
KCP
in
9.6, almost 10. So that's almost 6 guys in double figures. Between AD, LeBron, and Trez, they're each averaging over 8 rebounds a game.
It's a team. This is what a team should look like. Despite having them,
Gasol and AD, one averages 1.6, one averages 1.4 blocks a game. Like they're huge. They're defensively sound. They're championship material.
They got the 2 best players.
They're like assuming health. They're the runaway, in my opinion.
Well,
I don't see anyone coming close.
There's nobody coming close. I thought maybe the Nets would come close. They've had a bit of issues that they've got to figure out. Obviously, with
the Clippers
Kyrie.
Are maybe the other one, but
I'm not big on that.
I don't know.
When you got,
it'll be interesting.
When you got 2 of the top 5 players in the league, plus a fire supporting cast, plus a coach who's underrated, who has been great. Championship. They're set to repeat this year. They're set for it.
For sure. I saw this thing on Facebook, and I want to bring it up here. And I didn't tell you about this before, but someone made a post. They said, "Is Chris Middleton the best shooter in the NBA?" And I'll tell you why. From a statistical standpoint, this season, he's shooting 56% from the field, 51% from 3. Mm-hmm. Okay, 97% from the free throw line. And he's putting up 23 a game, 23, 6, and 6.
Chris has been 50, 40, 90.
But this is 50, 50, 97.
Yeah, but
this is incredible. Like this. And Giannis has not been really that great to start the season. He's had a couple off games, and Milwaukee's figuring stuff out. But Chris Middleton's been incredible. I'll tell you why I don't think he's the best shooter in the league, and that's because my criteria of what a best shooter or a great shooter isn't just about your efficiency and how many shots it takes you to make a basket. Like, I get that. The efficiency definitely matters. But in my opinion, when you look at players like Steph Curry, first of all, there's no question you can't compare anyone to him. And then you have, like, Dame Lillard. Obviously
range.
Chris Middleton is going to be much more efficient. But the degree of difficulty in Dame's shots are very different. The length, the range, like you said, the burden he carries offensively for that team, it's a different story. James Harden, same idea. These guys are all incredible shooters. So I don't think that Chris Middleton is like, I don't know. What do you think?
The problem is when you're not comparing apples to apples.
I know.
And what I mean by that is
there's tiers of shooters.
It's not that there's tiers of shooters. Steph, Dame, James Harden, Trae Young is up there because of his range. PG, like you said, Bradley Beal. These guys, they carry an unbelievable load.
Exactly.
Chris Middleton doesn't nearly have that offensive load or the offensive burden on him. So for him to shoot efficiently is great. Don't get me wrong. It's very difficult to do. But he's not always expending that kind of energy in order to get buckets or to be able to shoot that much. These guys, the usage rate, the guys that I just named, is unbelievable. And they got to come and defend at the other end as well. Some of them don't defend well, and it's eminent that they can't defend well because of how much energy they exert at the offensive end, but it's just the load they carry offensively. The game plan is always double team these guys. It's never double team Chris. Sometimes if he gets hot,
if Giannis is out, sure.
If Giannis is out, or if they'll get hot in game adjustment, we'll double team Chris Middleton. But other than that,
you got Drew Holiday, you got Giannis.
He's not the main guy, right? So that's what really.
But he's having
that's a big deal.
Man, he's having a fantastic year. 23, 6, and 6, and those splits are incredible. 97% from the free throw line.
I want him to go somewhere else.
Chris?
Yeah.
Nah, bro.
After this year, I hope.
Speaking of going somewhere else, I'm glad you brought that up because you and I need to settle something here. And at this point, like, this is a crisis, man. This is a national crisis. This is an emergency. Like, dude, Bradley Beal. Now at this point, like, how do you not want to get out of there? Now I'm just judging him. Like, how do you not want to get out of there? He scored 101 points
over 2
games, and they were 0-2.
Yeah.
And his girl was tweeting all night.
She tweets a lot.
She was tweeting all night, bro. Like, what is going on? Bradley Beal needs to get the heck out of there. I want to ask you, where do you think he should go? Where do you think he would be a great fit?
He doesn't have much of a choice. So obviously everything's dependent on trades.
Let's just say your preference.
Where would I want to see him?
Yeah,
I would.
And it's gotta like somewhat make sense.
First and foremost, I think the Raptors can use him. I think a reliable closer, a reliable scorer, a guy who can get you a bucket when you need. And that rumor has been around for 2 years, maybe. It's been there. The Raptors
created by Raptors media, I'm sure.
Right, and Raptors fans want him. It's not like they don't
Absolutely.
want him. Right? And I think if he were to come into a system where there's other reliable players and he doesn't have to do it all, I think he'd be open to that idea. So Raptors, I think first and foremost, like I think we're both maybe on that same page for that one. I wouldn't mind seeing him in Miami. Miami would be a great
with
fit for
Jimmy,
him.
Tyler Hero.
Yeah.
But one of them would have to go.
Jimmy would stay. Tyler Hero probably go. Maybe they get. I don't know if they get rid of Duncan too, but having wings of Bradley Beal, and Jimmy Butler. One who can put up any shot you want. He'll score a bucket for you. Jimmy Butler can score when needed and can defend. I think they can complement each other. So I wouldn't mind seeing him in Miami. As far as any other team goes,
I got one for you.
Go for it.
I got one, and I think
a contender. I'm only want contenders, and I hope.
This one's a contender, and I'll tell you, the Denver Nuggets.
I was thinking about Denver. I'm like, no.
The Denver Nuggets, because instead of that Gary Harris position, like that 3. They desperately need a third reliable option. If Jamal Murray and Jokic can get a guy like Beal, a guy like that, what they expected Gary Harris could eventually turn into, man.
No, the reason why I would disagree with you on that one is not because I don't think he would fit there. I think the trio of them 3 would be pretty interesting. I don't think Bradley would settle for a third option.
He's not a third option. He'd be like 1B, 1A. 1B, 1A with Jokic.
You think Jamal Murray would want that? The max guy?
See, it would be tough. Like,
problems.
And you talk about money. Like, I don't know if the 3 maxes would work, but you're right.
I don't know. It creates problems.
It gets tough.
Even take the money out of the. I don't mean max guy as in money. I mean max guy as
this
is the guy. This is the franchise guy essentially.
Imagine they flip like a Drew Holiday and a few things, and you got
Bradley in Milwaukee. Would be interesting.
That'd be nice.
That'd be pretty interesting. That's a good one too.
Nice. But yeah, I'm just trying to think of contenders that could have him. But
Bradley Beal in Houston, trade him for Harden.
I mean, in Utah, he'd be pretty cool too.
Utah would have a big role in Utah. That'd be really nice.
That'd be a nice one with him and Donovan Mitchell. So there's a lot of imaginary things that we can just draft up here all night, but it's got to make sense financially. We didn't look at the contracts at all. So
no.
It's just more so like our preference and what. So before we end it, let's talk about the rookies, man. Let's talk about this rookie class is built different, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, let's just go top 5. Like, I'm gonna go pull up the rookie ladder.
By the way, none of these guys are a shoo-in for rookie of the year.
Exactly.
We don't have. Usually, we have like last year we had John Morant, maybe Zion because he's. But it was
Zion played like three games, so
exactly.
yeah, it was John Morant, bar none.
Usually you have one or two guys, maybe. Usually it's one guy. We know this is the guy. This is who is going to win it. All these 5 guys we're about to talk about, they got a shot at winning this.
They do.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Some more than others, but they got a shot. So let's start with number 5.
Yeah, so Anthony Edwards, the Minnesota product, number 1 pick, 15.5 points a game, 2.4 rebounds, 2 assists. His non-points game can get a little bit better. 41% from the field, 29% from 3. So he's inefficient. But I'm not going to assess a number 1 pick, a kid, in his first few weeks in the NBA on his efficiency.
Yeah.
There's a lot of things that they need to get comfortable with, and it's a transition. So the fact that he's giving them 15.5 points a game, I think, is very promising. He can produce, and he's coming off the bench for the majority of these. Mm-hmm. So I think that he had a career night.
26?
Producer Kiro put together a graphic for him. 26 points.
Yeah,
26 points. It was a career high, and 9 to 21 from the field. So I like that, man. I like, people will say he's inefficient, he takes bad shots, but they're signs that you want out of a kid.
Yeah.
And that confidence is so hard to find, and I think that confidence with Anthony Edwards is great.
I think the biggest thing for him is going to be finding a real role on that team. I think his role is very ambiguous on that team. They have him coming off the bench, but you got Cat who plays sometimes, who might sit out because of injury, but you have D'Angelo Russell. I think just getting him more run, getting him more comfortable. I loved he took a game-winning shot and he had the ball in a game-winning situation and he threw it away. They had Ricky Rubio instead of looking at Anthony being like, oh, whatever, rookie, like stupid move. Ricky Rubio literally was coaching him right after that play, right after the time expired, telling him you should have done this, you should have went this way, you should have thought about this. So I think that veteran leadership is going to be big for him. But once he gets a more solidified role, I think he's going to be much better. The next rookie we have, who I am very high on personally, just of the games I've watched him play, James Wiseman.
Ooh.
This guy, averaging 11.3 points, 6 rebounds a game, 1.6 blocks.
1.6 blocks is heavy, bro.
It's heavy, and he's shooting 47% from the field and 42 from 3.
That's so important.
He does not look like he can shoot a 3
He's a 7-footer.
to save his life, but he can shoot the 3. He's
a 7-footer.
Looking at his stats, when I think back to watching him, active hands, active guy, mobile, big,
lefty,
can shoot the jump, that can shoot the mid range. I told you, I looked around and told you, I'm like, tell me this guy does not remind you of a Chris Bosh.
Chris Bosh, yeah. You said Chris Bosh. I think he's got way more athleticism than Chris Bosh, and I think that, man, I saw him running the floor a couple times. And he hit the Euro. He hit the Euro on the fast break, or he's just, he takes off and he just dunks. Man, I loved watching him play. He's got it. He's got it,
and he's very active. He's on a great team who's going to teach him great things. Draymond's there for him. Great coach and Steve Kerr. So I think he's one of the guys. If he can just produce more output, if he can go like 15 points a game, 10 rebounds a game, that's a tough case for Rookie of the Year.
For sure.
I think he can win it.
Yeah, for sure. He's a good player, man. And they said he's going to be our starter for the next few years. Yeah. So they're very high on him. The number 3 on this list is kind of a funny pick.
Hilarious.
Peyton Pritchard from the Boston Celtics. I'm going to give him his flowers because he worked the Raptors.
Torched.
Worked. There was his best game, 23 points, 8 assists. Welcome to the Raptor killer list, buddy.
Yep.
He's been inducted.
Yep.
Man, he looks confident. He's like a small guard who can. He's kind of pesky, bro. Like he reminds me of like a TJ McConnell and like a JJ Barea, like morphed into each other. Like he's kind of a good defender, but he knows how to pass the ball and like maneuver. He has a good shot.
He can shoot.
He's just kind of small. But I mean, they're getting 8.5 points from him, 50% from the field, 35 from 3, which is pretty good for a rookie guard. So especially a small guy like that, and he had a game winner against the Heat after he put down the Raptors at 23. So shout out to Payne Pritchard, man, earning his minutes, earning his stripes.
What I love the most about him is that he's created a role for himself. He hasn't waited for the role to be created for him. He's gone to the game and he's also
gotten lucky with
right away
with injuries to the other guards. So he's gotten lucky, but he's made the most.
He's made the most of his minutes, and this is what I'm talking about: the confidence that Malachi Flynn needs to have. This kid's confident. This kid, Malachi Flynn will get a big man switched onto him. He'll kind of start to draw back and retreat a little bit. This guy will attack him. So that's what I love about Peyton Pritchard. Like you said, welcome to the list of Raptor killers. That was the first thing we said when we were watching the Raptors Boston Celtics game. Yeah. Number 2 on the list. This podcast is very high on him. I was very high on him. I'm very high on the whole family. LaMelo Ball. LaMelo Ball recently became the youngest player in NBA history to record a triple-double.
Yep.
Which he broke the record of his brother. Actually, his brother held that. Lonzo Ball held that record prior to him. So it's very, very obviously things come full circle and all that good stuff. But he's been averaging 12 points, 5 rebounds, just under 5 assists, shooting fairly well, 41% from the field and 36%.
36 from 3 is very good for someone they thought that he didn't have much of a shot.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So he's been playing very, very well. He comes off the bench, doesn't even have a starter role. And he, at the end of the day, he's Showtime.
Yeah.
He's box office.
His 4.9 assists and 1.6 steals per game lead the rookie class.
Mm-hmm.
His 5.1 rebounds are the best among non-center rookies. And his 12.1 points per game are second to only Anthony Edwards. So he
does it all.
He's right up there, and he's coming off the bench, man.
He does it all. And what I love, honestly, Charlotte didn't need any more guards, but they got this kid because they know he can do everything. He can do a bit of everything, and he's gonna attract the casual fan. He's gonna attract the Hornets fan to watch their game. So great pick by the Hornets finally to pick up LaMelo Ball. And hey, listen, I know MJ is considered to be like the MJ of bad owners, and that's the thing that goes around. But
yeah,
very good pick with this one. And they've built a sleeper team. They've got a whole bunch of guys who can give you good minutes, and they can really become a good team in the future.
Agreed. And last but not least, man, our favorite rookie in terms of swagger, in terms of his confidence,
his game.
Tyrese Halliburton from the Sacramento Kings. Nobody knows how in the world this man dropped to 12th. But he is a stud, man. 11.7 points a game, 4.7 assists, 2.8 rebounds, 1.3 steals, 51 from the field, 48 from 3. And he's putting up like 4 or 5 a game. So that's respectable, man. He's killing the game. He's got a lot of confidence. People are confused at how he dropped.
Yeah,
I anticipate he might get himself into the starting lineup. But like we said, man, these rookies are just different. Like they're coming in, they're ready to go. Mm-hmm. This is the 12th pick. And another guy, too, that I want to shout out, like another Tyrese.
Yeah.
Tyrese Maxey, 39, 7, and 6.
Yeah.
Hey, man, here's some minutes. Go and get me 40. He's 18, 19 years old. So these kids are built different, man.
It's a good class. It's a better class that we've seen in the past, and it's a more distributed class. I think the biggest thing for all these guys is just to be able to make most of their minutes. If you're in the game, make sure you're productive. Make sure you're doing something. It doesn't. And I think the thing that kind of not unites all of these guys, but I think that they all have in common is that they don't need to only score. These guys can all rebound. These guys can all pass the ball. They can all make plays. They're all grit guys. They're all guys who know how to play the game other than scoring. And I think that's why they're getting minutes. That's why they're actually playing.
Yeah.
Guys like Anthony Edwards, athletic, bro. This guy, I remember seeing a highlight dunking. Backboard hit head hit the backboard.
Yeah,
so
yeah, for sure.
All these guys can bring something to the table, and all these guys, I don't know if they'll all be maybe cornerstone guys, but they're all guys who I think can contribute to winning basketball, and that's what we're seeing.
For sure. Now, with that being said, just want to let everybody know, please subscribe to the videos, like and comment on the videos, and engage with us on Twitter, man. We reply. We're pretty cool. We're fly with it, so just let us know how you're feeling, and we're always happy to bring you guys some content, so we'll come at you guys on the next episode.